I have a question with Mr. Barrister Ahmad Mohsin. Sir, please state what are the virtues of Qayyam in the month of Ramadan?
You see, firstly, we need to establish as to what Qayyam really is. The literal interpretation of the word Qayyam follows from the fact that it means to stand. So it is basically an integral part of the Islamic prayer, wherein the person stands while worshipping Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. So that really is what the word Qayyam really connotes. Now Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala recognizes the phrase or the term Qayyam in the sacred and holy and majestic book, the divine book of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, Holy Quran. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala states, وَالَّذِينَ يُبِيتُونَ لِرَبِّهِمْ سُجَّدًا وَقِيَامًا. So now what does that mean? And those who pass their night, or those who spent their night for their Lord in prostration and standing. So now two things here. The ones who pass their night for their Lord in prostration, which is sajda, and then while standing, which is Qayyam. So there it is then, firstly, that Qayyam has been recognized, the term Qayyam and sajda as well, has been recognized in the Holy Quran by Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. With that being said, in lieu of the virtues of the Qayyam that a Muslim or a pious person observes. Now, a number of ahadith of the beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, again evidences the same, the virtues of Qayyam. With that in perspective, Hazrat Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala firstly said the same thing which I said earlier, and I wish to reiterate it again, that Hazrat Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala said that the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, is reported to have said that the pious person, the believers, the faithful ones who fasts in the month of Ramadan, their entire previous sins will be forgiven. And now the second part of it is relevant here, and the one who observes Qayyam in the month of Ramadan, their entire sins, previous sins, will also be forgiven. Now that is one thing. In addition to this, Hazrat Bibi Aisha Siddiqa, Tayyiba Tahira Zahida Abida radiyallahu ta'ala anha, she rather narrates an incident of the beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Now what she states is that when the month of Ramadan would arrive, the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, while in the state of Qayyam, while standing, would worship and would engage in worship to Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala day and night. He would spend his entire nights worshipping Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, and such was his state of worship that he would cry, he would weep. The beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, would spend his entire night weeping while in that state of worship, while in that state of Qayyam, when he was engaged in the worship of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. He would weep before Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala the entire night, and it would reach to such an extent that Hazrat Bibi Aisha radiallahu anha states that the beloved Prophet, peace be upon him's entire chest would be filled with tears. The stream of tears that would let flow, and his entire chest would be filled. The entire night would have elapsed, and then it would remain until the time of Fajr would arrive, and Hazrat Bilal Habshi radiallahu anhu would give the call to the prayer of Fajr Salat. So that is again an evidence confirming that the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, himself engaged in this act of worship, this Qayyam. Now, in addition to that, it is also rather said about Hazrat Bibi Fatima radiallahu anha that such a night would arrive in her lifetime that she would spend her entire night while in the state of Qayyam worshipping to Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. Yet another evidence confirming the authenticity and the virtues of Qayyam right therein. In regards to Hazrat Imam Azam Abu Hanifa radiallahu ta'ala anhu, now there was this this neighbor of his who used to live just next to him, he was a Jew rather, and that Jew neighbor had a child. Now the demise of Hazrat Abu Huraira, Hazrat Imam Azam Abu Hanifa, it took place. The demise of Imam Azam Abu Hanifa radiyallahu ta'ala anhu took place, and he passed away. Now when he passed away, this child of the Jew, the neighbor of Imam Azam Abu Hanifa, he called out to his father, the Jew. He said that, "Father, there was this tree in the neighbor's house, the shade of which I would see the entire night. What has occurred that I do not see the shade of that long tree anymore? I do not see the branches of that tree moving to and fro. So what really is the reason? Where is the tree? Where is the branch? Where has it gone?" And the Jew, not a Muslim, he replied, "O son, that was not an ordinary person. That was the leader of Muslims. That was the Imam of Muslims. That was Imam Azam Abu Hanifa. And it was not actually the tree or the branch of tree that you would see the entire night, the shade of which you would see the entire night. But in actual, it was a saint of Allah who would engage in the worship of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala while observing the state of Qayyam the entire night. So the person you would see worshipping, the branch that you would see, the shadow of which you would see moving, it was not actually the branch of a tree, but rather the shadow of a person who would actually be praying to Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala while in the state of Qayyam. And it is actually, as my Sayyidi Shaykh Muhammad Mohsin Mohsini, he was also telling this to us earlier, that it is rather said about Hazrat Imam Azam Abu Hanifa radiyallahu ta'ala anhu that he used to finish one entire Holy Quran in the day and one entire Holy Quran in the evening. Now that is a significant aspect to take account of, that merits contemplation upon the fact. And the same is also said for Imam Shafi'i. So with that in limelight, we answered your question in the affirmative again. Thank you.